Alright, so this is late night. But, I feel like I should at least put something on. I wrote a little something earlier, but got distracted because of somebody else's well, I mean, I don't know, I guess it was a little bit me too, because I did a couple things I'm not gonna mention because, you don't really want people to know you do that, so and just starting to see that, like, a lot of people fall into the darkness, and that's a shame. And it's getting harder and harder to, like, fight it. I know I'm safe in Jesus' name, but it's bad when you try to put prayer on when people are feeling a little off or nervous, or like something's like around, and they legitimately turn down prayer, interrupt, stuff like that, and blame it on the frequency. If the prayer is said the right way and it's put, like, your intentions are good, then it's gonna, like, work for you. There's some prayers that, like, that yes, granted, on YouTube I've heard some prayers where they added some stuff and it just didn't make any sense, and I'm like, no, that's not it. So I get that, but what I was listening to, it was very softly, and I believe it was a Psalms prayer, and it was just to, like, calm the moment because we both were feeling nervous. But anyway, I know I haven't posted anything in about 3 months. There's many reasons why. I quite honestly been going through it, and I hope you guys can hear me good enough. Oh, sorry about that. I guess we'll start out with this. The Lord is compassionate and merciful. He is patient and demonstrates great loyal love. So anyway, yeah, it's been a while since I posted a video, but I quite honestly have been going through it. Besides, I'm pretty sure my YouTube page has been, like, blacklisted, and something about someone else maybe taking rights of what someone else does. I'm not sure if it's implying for me because it's never said, or what. I don't know. It's just something that keeps coming up. It's been coming up for a while, and I don't know. It never puts a name to it, but it's like, for all purposes, you know, like, I don't know, references and stuff. But I keep running into things about copyrights and patents and I don't know, other things like that. But I'll get back to that another time. I'll explain a little on why it's been so long, as if it even matters at this point. I guess slowly I'll gain viewers and followers. And at this point, I'm kind of sick of stressing and talking and complaining and going on and on and on about all the crap and never getting to the bottom of it. I mean, I'm pretty much at the bottom of it, but it's like nothing ever getting done about it. Like, I'm sick and tired of being the victim. That's not the story I want. Like, I'm proud of myself for what I've been through and still here, but like I don't want to be anybody's victim anymore. And that's where I'm getting sick of it at. And I feel like I'm being made to be, like it's like the name of the game. It's either you're going to be the victim or you don't get to play. And I wasn't even playing to begin with. It was everybody else's game. So, but like seriously, which is why I do need to just get the whole thing out. People are going to do what they're going to do. You know. But anyway, I won't get into exact detail on like everything on why I haven't posted. But all this time, most of my videos have been about, you know, protecting my daughter and the things that were going on around my daughter and CPS. And after a 2-year case, my mom decided she doesn't want to supervise anymore. The supervision was supposedly signed off by a doctor, allegedly, even though that doctor told me that their only recommendations was continuing therapy and continuing medication. I think a good idea for me would be to make sure I get the transcripts from court from last summer. So then that way it can be shown that they said that exactly about the doctor, and that in fact the division and my father were the ones that were worried about my mental health. It wasn't the doctor. So I'm not sure why the supervision still needed to be at play, even with the whole court case to begin with, because my lawyer had told me from like the first court that everything was unfounded. So if it's unfounded, then there's no need to go on. So it was literally just a vengeance of my worker because of something that I reported. And that's really horrible because now I've been separated from my child. And all that protection, all that stressing about protecting her and doing everything that I can, fighting tooth and nail to stop like people acting badly to my child or indifferent or not blackmailing, whatever they were doing to make her not want to talk so badly, putting her in fear, whatever those sorry, excuse my language, for lack of a better word, scumbags, whatever the scumbags were doing, and the by scumbags, I mean people that, you know, use force and threat and stuff like that to scare children so that their filthy secrets can be kept secret. After all that blood, sweat, and tears, like, and after 2 years of a case, having like this whole supervision plan, the whole 2 years, And there was no budge on my mental health, like, but at the same, like, but that's what they're saying. But in the meantime, they were furthering my mental health issues, because my very fear was being dangled in front of my face every single day that I had the case, that I might lose my kid. And being belittled and being like, basically having getting name called by people like in like authority. And it just be that no matter what the real outcome is, it just be what they say because they have this position of authority. Like, that is scary. And then when I'm speaking out against abuses against my child, and the people that are supposed to protect her are looking at me without investigating, which it's actually policy, it's actually a part of regulations and rules and stuff. They're obligated to investigate every claim, no matter what. And without them doing that, without me getting a fair say or a fair look into of anything, right away it was me being called names, to me being threatened with foster care that night unless I signed for the supervision. If I would have known my rights then, I would be in a much better place now. But I did try to exercise my rights, and because I underhandedly signed for what I signed for. Underhandedly meaning I did not know that I was signing for this. I did not realize it. It was on the piece of paper, it was implied, but it was never spoken about, and it was like the very last prompt, you know, because otherwise I'd have been like, no, you're not doing that. Like, why would you sell either one of our information to who you were selling it to? That's just odd. Like, haven't you heard lately? Like, that's not cool. That's putting us at risk. So these people legit put me and my child at risk, because when you're selling like certain kinds of information to individuals and organizations and like clergymen, like, why did I don't even clergymen? I'm not even, is that Catholic? I'm not even sure what it is. I don't think I have clergymen in the churches that I went to. So why were clergymen buying my information, or my child's? I'll never get it, you know. So I mean, honestly, and to any individual who so shall request it, that's a scary thought, because any freaking body could have bought my information. Anybody, and I'm sure they have. And it probably put me and my child in a lot of bad positions. And I'm being blamed for that, right? All because I tried to protect her from it. Maybe if my information wasn't up for grabs by anybody, maybe, just maybe, I'd be in a better position right now. But the people that were supposed to, if they were using the information to like double check, because, you know, because it was because of an incident that happened on April 24th, 2003. That's when they started selling it, is what they said. I wasn't aware of what happened, but I did run into a YouTube video. So, I mean, I kind of put two and two together. I don't think that's the same time, so that means that could have happened more than once. So then there's been a couple of these incidents that I'm unaware of because of trauma. And then they're using basically the trauma and what that can cause in an unhealed person to say I have delusions, to say I'm paranoid, stuff like that. But the things I was paranoid about, like, honestly, duh, of course I was. I have an unhealed trauma. It's not healed. And I was unaware of it. I was paranoid and I didn't understand why. Thanks. But there was real reasons why I was paranoid too. That's the thing. So not only did they just like not do their job, sorry, not sorry. Like You're supposed to investigate. I don't care how crazy someone says that a mother is. If a mother has concerns about somebody putting their hands on their child or anything of the sort, look into it. Why would a mom bring up something like that if it's a freaking lie? That is so retarded. That is so retarded. That's like putting bad juju on your kid, you know what I'm saying? Like, it really is. I wouldn't say that out loud if it wasn't true, you know, like, or if it wasn't like something that I'm questioning because of certain things. And it was only certain reasons why I started questioning it, like change of behavior, like her appetite, like things just started to change. So I'm like, something's up. You know, the normal things, when things go on, you need to look into it, as any mom would, not just a paranoid, delusional mom. Any good mom would say, hey, something's going on with her. Something's going on. She's not acting the same. She's not eating the same. You know, and there was something going on with me too, because I was healing. So there was a lot. And I guess that some people didn't want that. So, you know, they got mad and, you know, started making things hard for me, I guess. But in all reality, you know, long story short with that part, when you're selling information to individuals, any individual who so shall request it, you're really putting people at risk. You really are. Like, really, really are. And that's scary. And when the people who did that are the ones who directly work with children, and they should have been, like, protecting, like, yeah, I get it. What I was saying was, so if they had, you know, I thought that I was being abused back then, in 2003, I was still in high school, maybe they wanted to, you know, make sure I wasn't going to abuse my kid. So I thought of that when I first read this. I'm like, maybe it's because, you know, they know of my pet, like, they know of the dynamics or whatever, and they wanted to make sure I wasn't abusing. But honestly, obviously that's not what they were looking for, because I expressed my concerns of that, and they said, oh, no, you can't do that. That makes you paranoid. You can't say that. You know why? Because they said it's untrue. Well, I mean, okay then, I guess but they're also the ones that keep calling and claiming all these problems too. I wonder why. Isn't that considered domestic terrorism? Harassment, at least? So all these problems were made because of certain situations. And instead of, like, doing what was best for the family meaning mom and daughter, kid and mom, which would have been to make sure there was proper diagnosis going on with me, make sure there was proper therapy, not people that were going to fudge paperwork just for it to go a certain way, which I don't think that doctor did. I just am not, they're not allowing me to obtain any records, not even any paperwork at all from my case, not even ever since my daughter's been removed. These people are insane with that. Everything should be in writing, especially when it comes to someone's child. That is my whole child. That is my whole self. Going from every single day. Just her and me. Being able to, like, wake up and, like, go check on her, being able to run to her when she screams, and being able to wipe her tears when she cries, and hug her when she cries. Instead, I got to, like, sit here on the phone and watch her get yelled at for crying. And have people tell me what I can and cannot say to my kid. Take away our contact because they think it's inappropriate that I talk to her openly. They think it's inappropriately too soon. They think it's inappropriate even for me to have a place for her to tell me, like, who she's afraid of, or what she may think that they may do and stuff like that. Like, I want her to talk to me about those things, but apparently my caseworker thinks that's inappropriate too, which I don't understand. How? I'm the mother. If I wanted to talk to her about how her boogers fit in her earlobe, like, then so freaking bad. A lot of these mothers out here are teaching their kids some religion that has everything to do with, like, all the evil, you know what I mean? And nothing to do with, like, the good. They still got their kids. Why is it me trying to give my kid an open space to be able to speak to me about things that other adults may be doing, you know, that she is uncomfortable with? Why is that inappropriate? And this is someone who works directly with children. Isn't that something you're supposed to do? You work with kids. You're supposed to be like, you actively talk to them and like ask them, you know, like find out. Because a kid shouldn't be made to be quiet about somebody doing something that could inflict harm, fear, or anything else into them. But I'm the one who has mental issues because they said so. I reported something, so therefore, delusional. We didn't even get a doctor diagnosis yet, but delusional. Hey, how's her delusions doing is how she used to talk. Looking over me as if I don't exist. That's just name calling. And I've been so afraid to talk, to speak, because I'm afraid that she's going to take away my visits. Because so far I got the case reviewed, so she started blowing up my phone, trying to make it seem like I wasn't doing what I was supposed to be doing. And then she went and took my daughter to a doctor's appointment. It was her first blood work draw, and she didn't tell me about it. She didn't notify me. She didn't have me there. And then she said, oh, I forgot. But she did great, though. My daughter never, like, me and her, like, as close as we were, like, she really wanted her mommy. She really wanted her mommy for that. So I've just been going through it a little bit. And I'm still finding out more and more stuff. I still research, but not as much, because it's getting harder to find out a lot of this stuff. But to find out how connected it all really is. And like, and I'm still trying to deal with like a wounded past too, and it's just, they want me to work on my mental health, but I have been. My mental health would be in a much better state if they did not rip my child from me, and if they were not controlling my parenting and making me be supervised by people that were making me and my child feel uncomfortable. And then speaking to me as if I have no rights as a human being to even have a say in my own case when it comes to my child, but yet have everything to say to the grandparents. Speaking with my dad to the side, like, after every meet, like, she would come in, like, she's supposed to be meeting with the family, mother and child, and it was my case, it wasn't their case, but every day she had a meeting with them, too, you know, like, secret meeting, like, she would come sit with me, and then like, I get it, it was their house and stuff like that, but at the same time, she acted as if that they were in control. They were in control of their home, they were not in control of the child. And especially because of the way they raised me, I didn't want my child raised that way. That is my right as mom. You don't get to do certain things to a kid just because it's your home. That I'll never believe. You know? And as parents, you should understand that. Loving parents would. They would maybe help out and step in a little bit here and there, but not to the extent of what this went down with. This was a whole trap. And anybody else that might be going through anything that I'm going through, like the whole targeting bit and stuff like that, it's like the more you know, the harder it is. And the worse it, like, not really the worse it gets, but that, like, it's just ridiculous. It's ridiculous to fear telling your truth because of what people may say or do. God forbid you even think it, because, you know, somehow they got mind rights these days. And if you think that can't happen, you're out your mind. Apparently they got mind rights, and they're using them. We don't have any more, like, nothing. We don't have nothing anymore. No privacy. Everything is seen. Everything is heard. Oh well, y'all already know everything about me. You knew that when you bought my information, so, I mean, come on. Let's talk about it then. I just can't believe it actually came to this. I'm doing everything I can. I haven't really been able to be at the house because all her things and her bed and our room and our memory. Is all there. And my worker just keeps delaying and acting as if there's just always a mental health challenge. She doesn't ever have a reason for it, though. Like, I know I need healing. That's for dang sure. And especially after this. This is what's killing me, though. This is what's torturing my mental health. Because it is torture. Feeling like I can, like, almost, but the least I can do is still talk about it, as much as they want me to be quiet. As long as I don't cause them any problems and I don't mention names, and they can't say anything about it because I do have freedom of speech. You guys think you can take my parental rights away. You still can't do that, and I will exercise them. One of these days, you're gonna have to realize that I'm right and stop that. I do have rights as a person. And discrimination isn't a reason to keep a mother and child away from each other. And just because I need healing from a traumatic past doesn't mean that I can't be a good mom. It's the information being sold is what put us at risk. So the risky things that happened, or like the stuff that happened that made me like be triggered and act like, you know, a little over emotional and things like that. I could have reacted better, but at the same time, that wouldn't have happened if my information wasn't being sold. And to many people. Apparently, so many people knew more about my life than I did. You know? So, but they used it to, like, make fun of me instead of helping. So, that only made things worse. And now I'm fighting and hoping that I can get my kid back in a world today where CPS thinks foster parenting is way better than the parents, because why have the kids be with their mamas? It's a known fact. I have a whole PDF file that kids that get sick quicker, they are less protected, they are more prone to abuse, they are more prone to trafficking, they are more prone to everything bad when they're separated from family. Especially when they like to say it's like mother and daughter and their bond is extremely close. They have no idea what they're actually doing by ripping us apart. And then cutting contact even because my worker thinks it's inappropriate for me to tell my feelings to my kid. Maybe I might say a little bit much, but I've been talking to my daughter, like, about everything since she was a newborn. I would sit her in a chair, and as I'm doing the dishes, I would just tell her I'm doing the dishes, I'm doing this, I'm washing the plate. Like, I explained to her the things that I was doing. Because that's what I read in a book. They said, instead of doing baby talk to, like, you would talk, you know, kind of like everyone else, not really, like, you know, with boundaries. And they should turn out to be, like, intellectual and stuff like that. And if my kid is so good, and I know she is better for these foster parents, don't you know they're threatening to hit her? Threatening to hit my kid. Not only yelling at her for making her for crying, but threatening to hit her after cutting contact. If that doesn't seem like a weird tactic to me, I don't know what is. And I can't even handle, I don't like talking to my worker because she doesn't respect me at all. She thinks she has this position of authority, so she has every right in the world to treat me as a nothing, to talk down to me, to tell me what I have rather than find out from the real doctor. She tells them, you know. I think someone honestly, I feel like a whole blackmailing thing that goes on with that. You're gonna say what we say you're gonna say what we want you to say about her, or we're gonna get your license taken away because we have a paycheck to make. What is it, $3,000 or $4,000 for a kid to be placed in a foster home? Literally, $4,000 bonus. No wonder why these workers are like, let's go, take you, take you, take you, take you. We ain't got no reason, but I want that $4,000. They're making freaking bank. And then they're promoting foster care all over the world, and they're cutting parent advocacy. That is traumatizing the fuck out of our children. A whole lot of traumatized kids. You think you have a high authority position, but look at what you're doing. Look at what you're doing. How special are you? Some kids, yeah, I get it, need to be, you know, removed from homes. To a point. And even then, not for a long time. Like, this has been going on for too long already. Like, I'm hurting. And it only hurts worse every single day. There is no joy in my life right now. None. Except for the measly couple hours that I get to see her. That's not enough. That is not enough. And she loves her mommy. She loves her mommy. She was all about mommy. They even said it in court a while back that it would not be for the best interest of the child to remove her from the mom. But my worker just didn't care anyway. Let's do it. You know, $4,000 looks better than a little precious mind. Let's just make it seem like, you know, it's inappropriate to talk to your kids about things, and let's keep it going for so long that her mom's gonna get tired of being a supervision. She's gonna be too stressful. Why not? And then we'll finally get that bonus. That's literally all it's about, and that's sick, man. You're looking at my kid like a dollar sign. She is not for sale, man. None of these kids are for sale. And then how dare anybody else, I don't care what corporation you work for, or what freaking, you know, position you hold in that office. I don't give a shit. The kids are not for sale, and they're not yours to sell. They're not yours to bank off of. It doesn't make you a better worker. A better worker would have legit done the best she could to make sure of family success with the mother and child in my position. Literally, give me resources, guide me in the right direction, help us to get to a better environment than where we were, and maybe my mental health would have been better. Maybe you couldn't think of that. Instead, finance the ones that were putting my mental health at risk. I really don't care who's watching this, honestly, because there isn't that many anyway. So, that was longer than I expected, and I'm pretty tired. Just had a nerve-wracking night. And felt like it would help for me to get this out there a little bit. And maybe I'll have the courage to post it. I'm getting really tired of staying quiet and just letting these people trample all over my rights, trample all over my parental rights, and ruin my life. They've taken it all from me. They take 2 years of my time. There's unnecessary distress, like so much trauma they're causing. And they don't even care.